He has a long list of his novels and poetry, and that, you know, we would have to extend the program a couple of hours for me to read the whole introduction. So anyway, he's a novelist, editor, teacher, journalist, first published in 1975, Canadian Fiction magazine. He holds a BA in creative writing and MFA in writing from University of British Columbia, boy, stamp of approval, and taught creative writing. So if you have any questions to ask him after he reads, free advice. He established the international literary journal Subterranean. Sounds very revolutionary. And served there as a fiction editor for 10 years. He has acted as a community editorial board member at the Vancouver Sun, and he continues to write for the Vancouver Sun. He has written criticism, social commentary, arts advocacy, etc., etc. And we know that he makes a fantastic book launch host. If you don't know just how brilliant and what a genius you are, get our next guest to come and launch your book. He's just fantastic, probably the best in town. So please welcome the wonderful, oh yes, and if you ever go to any function in town, it may be even in Paris you go to a function, you can rest assured that he will be there in the audience. If he's not hosting, he knows everybody. So please welcome the wonderful Dennis Bolen.
Thank you so much, Malia. I helped establish Subterranean. If Brian Kaufman was here and he heard that I had established Subterranean, there would be axes flying through the air. I have a 10-minute poem for you. Bass drum, midland, light crack, rumble, steel and bearing factory, leaden ground bound ignition, rail yard, army road, public house, harbor dock, blow down metallic thrum, on day school and Eton jacket to rip worsted textile of well-mannered children, culture horses, lawn estates, and uniformed servants, perturb the order of centuries, cockle the clinic ward calm, office and parlor lounge in 1,000 birth wards, 1,000,000 maternities, fatal noise, reverb in 1,000,000,000 minds, the cadence of oral survival. Thrummed out, if you listen hard, with vengeance and jutted chin, whirling savage manes to wisp away the terrors. Sweep before the dead nightmare an invented sonic universe to which the world perks, ear and brain and heart. To accept the savage snare growl, an electric string blade. Sandpaper time, mill plane tree, smelted ore, pipelined fluids of the ground. Teenage workers of the world frolic in the affluent effluence. They drive mighty travel machines to revel hard amid the distractions of growth. That drug be too strong, that car be too fast, that might be too many beers to drink to drive through a grove. Moloch trunk cathedral bearing crush, cerebral impact. And my friend so-and-so who defies all opposite forces, if you listen, all you hear is no to those who live young. Who, in the light above the dashboard, flew in a final futility to fall finished upon the polished hoods and hardtops, victim and victor, never old or contradicted, blinded by idea, enlightened by grief, muddled by knowledge. Those who fell awake too late, shrugging off the toxic blanket, numbed in the classroom, staggered by onerous future, straining to heft wood, metal, paper, toting somber books, wresting anachronisms, fearing war and economics, prepared at any moment to cover and duck and go away laid off from a zillion mill jobs, who daydreamed terminal and slept off youth in the phantom mental mist, sought the big exit by cerebral shift or thrill charge, slurring wild in a rebuilt English sedan with the boom boom barking doors, speaking whole lives, shouting violet minds, forcing the edge, skidding joyous in a barren parking lot of snow. Out aside the tarmac, under breezeway shingles, toil those whose fate determines must suffer the splinter, ragged abrasion, ragged cut, the bruises of forestry, fir and poisoned cedar, cast iron hemlock, lead log vengeful at the affront of being hewn. I never had arms until 1973, winging rough every dripping stick onto jagged stacks to feed the roaring carry machines. First shift nightmares by lunchtime, angry mass 2x4s against digestion. And that gnawing knowing that back again to the dreadful wood river streaming as never to stop before sleep could help anything. We huffed shoulder to shoulder, 20 stations, halls, 6 grades each, Alberni Pacific Division, longest green chained extant still in the then lumbering world. Lurching men dream of ease, more than a beer after the shift, escape so far deep, to fade as summer, afternoon hurtful heat, back crack, fatigue so drunken, and memory eroded, horror of wet 2x6s 20 feet long coming in sticky stacks. But the grain was clear and the head rid shrieked delight at ripping blade into pure tree flesh, a fusion of diamonded flecks, sodden confetti about the world, of us millers oblivious to an outside pleasance, of poised time, champagne with fish roe, mountain view and sea, pleasing shape to put one's hand to. So far away from where we were, with callus and leather apron, rosin soles, so far away from what we could admire amid true boards traveling, crushing massive, tensile, authoritative structural beams. So far away the lures of gentility, barred by endless log cabinetry, forgotten in dented truck and mortgaged sports coupe. Tailgate 4 p.m. tank car drink, littered ditch glass, lakeside roadway side glitter garland to commemorate the contemplated suicides of a million dropped out conscripts, whose thick dirty digits in a dizzy of booze and yearning sneak under feminine waistband, undue button of verdant blouse, and by shortness of sight nightly swear lifelong fealty to the chain, conveyor mother mechanical, who through dullness perpetuates their exiled minds, leaking youth, financed futures, the chain running for the builders, proud constructors, menders, and hammerists, the chain which punishes all who stand upon it, splintered decks and moving stage, the chain, none are spared, save the product. To the 1969 ambulance. What was the flaming deal? All the efficient terror, running flicker light sweep down dirt-side Milltown thoroughfare. But all was soon known, of course, a schoolmate and her brother, head-on, unspeakable collision, de-limbed aboard a motorcycle. She turned to me in class not a week prior, inquired after my closed-off girlfriend, how long we were and why we were not. In a berg of non-exception, absorbed industry fathers, schooled to dodge the world, the trap first babied. Though numbed dumb as we cringed, watched the medevac slow, short of a hospital saving time, signal expiry resignation. Could I have saved her life by pre-acquiring my eventual savoir-faire, worldly decades annealed to charm, maestro of amorous play? Perhaps run to the driveway, ask for the time or $1 or a date. Halt for a second the revving. Let fate disalign a swerve second. Multi-odd years later now at last, the graven notion comes hurtling. Did you catch anything said? Hear clear what she asked me? Nanaimo girl, your heart being kicked, tremolo bodily blackness, transmuted miracle eye glint, arrest the casual face, capture wordless hard men. Never mind your drawing visage to unclasp a million cell doors, 1,000 bureaucrats write themselves in a splendor spell so cinderizing as to burn a penitentiary to the rooftop. Come to tame and abide the inmates, reflect cluttersome inner grime, cloak thumping circulatory violence, apply protective sooty handhold for the good of all but your own sheltering mind. So there it was, us rolling under wetness and blue, under rushing tarmac torrent, you more guide than escapee, me joying every centimeter behind us, going from a misfired start, uneasy future, the bureaucracy of my brain surging for interregnum, and my wide smiling toothsome, confident knuckles on the wheel, chuckling back behind at something funny or other from my paperback lounge, where I perused deep the profundity of our lives writ in multitudinous prose, reading clips of Kesey and Kerouac aloud to your willing ear, and knew in a certain moment when I gazed at you gazing out firm back toward my cross-country education, there would come a regret, and the thing most piteous is how soon it came, how we said goodbye, not for sure it was goodbye, then with passing decades knowing, absolute for sure, that those sweet spinning wheels were committing us so quick to value what we went and found by forge together only a road or two, then branch and recede and with scarcely a wave. Even before life trouble, long yet the winding down,